Yeah, I have a phone now. That's comfortably 40 years old. Yeah, I'm here. Yes. We'll make some room too, actually.
There's plenty of room back here. Back up. Plenty of room back here.
I'm in Governor Terry's office right now with 100 other people.
Hold on, excuse me.
You're probably not going to be able to get everyone in here, so you can leave the door open though.
Thank you.
Keep moving that.
Oh, you can move back there, sir.
There's some room right here. Everybody back up, let me.
There's 106 and we want more.
How you doing?
Good.
All right, sure. There's someone here who would like to talk to us, and you came earlier.
How many people want to talk to the governor?
We all do. All right, well, I'm here to listen. What do you have to say?
Great, we're with Occupy Des Moines. We've been camping out at the state capitol the last few days.
Can you speak up, David, so we can hear?
We're with Occupy Des Moines. We've been at the state capitol since Sunday. On Sunday, Governor's Branstad state troopers arrested 37 people that were peacefully demonstrating. He's on the phone with Iowa Public Radio right now. He's going to ask Branstad a question himself. I'm glad you're here, but we want to talk to the governor. And I think a lot of folks here want to explain to you why we're here and what we want. We'll get into that in a second.
David?
The governor's not here.
Right, he's on public radio, and that's why he's on the
Talking
phone.
to him on public radio.
The basic deal is we want Governor Branstad to stand on the side of our democracy and on the side of everyday people and give us a permit to peacefully assemble down to the state capitol.
That's right. That's right.
The buck stops with the governor. If he doesn't do that, he's putting the interests of big money and big corporations ahead of the interests of hardworking families. And he risks, and he risks a confrontation later tonight between peaceful demonstrators and the state troopers. How many other people want to say something to the governor right now?
Just while we're waiting to talk to the governor personally, I just want to identify myself as Frank Cordero. I'm at the Des Moines Catholic Worker. We work with homeless and street people, and for years we've been experiencing bad government. When I talk about bad government, I'm talking about government that sides with money interests.
That's right.
The people who are powerful and own this country.
That's right.
We need to get on track. They say we need to get on track, you know, and those Republicans keep talking about big government. I'm no fan of big government. But the problem isn't big government, it's bad government.
That's right.
That's
And
right.
Terry Branstad has shown himself to be on the side of bad government. Bad government is government that does not have the concern of the common good.
Right.
The 99% of the rest of us. Bad government gives tax breaks to the rich and the wealthy. Bad government pools programs that directly help poor and needy people. I live at the Catholic Worker. I know these people personally. The government should side with the people.
Right.
About good government,
Right
not
on.
bad government. And giving us that permit is a sign that the government is with the majority of Iowans who are suffering today. And if we are denied that permit, this government is not only big, it's bad.
That's right.
And bad government is the problem.
Right on.
Tell the government that.
David Roder is right behind
I'm
you.
very happy to listen to your concerns. I appreciate you being here today. I do want to ask you to keep it down a little bit because we have a lot of people in this office working and we have to talk on the phone.
Dave, you know,
I'm here to
could we
listen
ask
to your
Dave Roder
concerns.
if he
And I'm
responded?
happy to hear.
Governor Branstad's budget director, David Roderer, is here. How many people think we want a response out of him? Too?
Hand signals.
Hi, Pearl.
One thing that
You're okay, Luke. Come here.
I went to school with Frank.
Whoa.
You and I.
You and I forever.
He was more conservative than I was, I'll say, but that's.
That's true.
That's
That's
absolutely true. The issue,
I know you hurt your
the
butt.
issue about money, coins, wherever they think it's going. In
the state. 57% of the revenue from the education. 57%. 25% goes to health and human services. The rest of it goes to the judiciary. And then about 5%, 10% goes to all the other areas, including economic development.
Will you help us get the permit, Dave?
What about the permit? I thought the question originally was on.
Question's about the permit.
Why is Terry Branstad more concerned
We're here
about
for
the
the
message we're
permit.
sending to business and not responding to the people in the park? He said, I'm not gonna allow that because I don't wanna send a bad signal to business.
Yes, that's
We all
true.
know.
He's sending a bad signal to the people of Iowa.
Bad signal to education in this state.
To answer your question, do they want to hear from me? No, they don't, so.
Will you help us get the permit? We talked to you about that earlier.
Branstad is out here from us. That was just so loud.
How long do you want it? This is not a campground out here.
Says who?
It says everybody.
We
Now, are you gonna talk or are you gonna listen?
Both.
just want a yes or no, sir.
The fact of the matter is, this is not a campground.
We're not out there to
And
roast
you-
marshmallows, David. We're there because we want our democracy back.
Okay, thanks, appreciate you.
We're there
It's
via our
not a
First
camping
Amendment
trip.
right.
You have, you're exercising your First Amendment rights right now.
And you are stopping us from
I'm
doing
not
that by
stopping
not
you.
helping
I'm
us
not
get the
stopping
permit.
you. There's a difference between, not anybody can just go, open up.
I know, we got a permit.
You know that, you know that, and it's for a limited period of
Yes,
time. You all know.
I'm here along with about 100 other members who have been occupying Des Moines
Is there anything else?
in
Is there
solidarity
anything
with
else
the
you
Occupy
guys
Wall Street
want?
movement. And we want to have Terry
I'm
Branstad.
exercising my
If,
First Amendment right.
he will do what he can to make sure that we have our First Amendment rights for speech and assembly here at the state capitol grounds. Will you do that for freedom and democracy?
Yeah.
By renewing the petition.
That's just a precedent. This is an unprecedented time in our history. And I think that just because it's never happened before, it doesn't mean it's against the law.
He's our governor.
Tell us what he's saying.
We can't hear it.
Did you meet with him in person? Try to record the phone call.
Yes.
So if you don't wanna grant us the permit, do you have an alternative for us? Where else can we go? Capitol grounds are open until 11 p.m. The permit is for a permit to stay overnight. The reason a permit is needed is because there are the same rules on the Capitol grounds for everyone.
Yeah.
And the Capitol grounds close at 11 o'clock in order to stay overnight. Just a moment. In order to stay overnight, a permit has to be obtained. It is obtained from the Department of Administrative Services, which you went and did, and you got the permit. That's how it works. We have 3 million people in Iowa, and obviously we have rules for the state capitol grounds. We can't have overnight camping.
And we're the
on Capitol
99%.
grounds without a permit.
We want that permit, so.
Tuesday when we filed for that permit, we said if we didn't break any rules, if we didn't destroy the park, if we mind our P's and Q's, we would be able
If
to
a
renew that
group would
permit.
like another permit,
No,
the proper
we
procedure
applied
for it. It was
is
denied.
Department of Administrative
We already
Services.
did
we
that.
It was
What
denied.
we're here to ask you is, will the governor support our permit request? Because the governor has the power to grant it.
the Department of Administrative
It
Services.
is department.
Are you going to hear my answer, or are you going to interrupt me? Okay. The Department of Administrative Services issues permits for overnight use of the Capitol grounds. If you would like to stay overnight beyond the terms of your current permit, you have to apply to the Department of Administrative Services, I know you did, and get a permit. You're welcome to apply again in the future. You are free to do that.
We're going to cover it.
For clarification about what might be going on here, we're talking about the soul of government, is what we're talking about. It's not about a permit. And Governor Branstad represents a party that has sold its soul to corporate interests.
That's right.
Our man here from the governor's office talked about revenues.
His name's
What he
Dave.
didn't, I'm sorry about
Yep,
that. David.
Brenna.
David talked about revenues. What he didn't tell you about, where do the revenues come from? They come from the people of Iowa. What he didn't
Good
tell
point,
you is
good point,
that,
good
what
point.
he, please let me talk,
Yeah,
David, thank you
can
very
I-
much.
can I follow
You
up
may,
when you're done?
but give me a chance, David. What he didn't tell you about, those revenues do not come from corporate people, rich people. They're the ones that bad government has been giving breaks to since Ronald Reagan. We need to change that. And what we're here to do is to try to recapture the soul of our government to meet the needs of the common good, which is what the government's about, the majority of people. So this really isn't about permits going through jumping hoops. We've jumped the hoops. We've done our task. This governor wants to kick us off this property. You know, the mayor of New York tried to kick those guys out of Wall Street. And it didn't get kicked out because a lot of people showed up and didn't let it happen. There are other state properties around the United States. I believe Wisconsin. They're opening up their buildings. They're letting this freedom of expression.
Do you have
They see
questions
this
for
as a...
us?
No.
No, if you have
David,
questions.
you're jumping in.
If you,
Goodness gracious,
if
David.
you have
You're
questions.
jumping in on me. You know why
You're in
not
our
listening?
office. If you have questions of us
I'm
here,
interrupting.
we'll answer those questions, but after those questions, you are gonna have to leave the office.
Sir?
That's it.
Approve the permit.
Question.
I think it is very important that we don't just come here to make speeches. If we're here, it should have a purpose, and I think it should be communication.
Yeah, our purpose
People
is
who
to
are
get
here.
the permit.
How can I get a permit
wanted
tonight?
to ask Brenna a question, if I can. I hope, I'm not trying to like play a trick. I hope that you can understand our frustration, because we don't understand why we were denied. We were told all week long that we had lived up to our end of the deal, basically. We did go in and we filed a new permit, or a new application for permit, and we're told that was denied. And the reason given, correct me if I'm wrong, especially communications people, but the reason given was simply precedent. And you said just a bit ago that, you know, somebody else could apply, somebody else has the right to apply, and then we can apply in the future. That kind of leaves us in a confusing and frustrating place. I feel like I, as a person, could almost come in and apply today, and then I, Kat, would have a permit. And so that's why, could you speak to that a little bit?
Well, I think, you know, it's a basic principle, and I think perhaps even one that we could all agree on, that rules should apply equally to everyone. I think that's particularly important when we're talking about the Capitol grounds, which belongs to all of us as a state. The state government has the Capitol grounds, but we're all proud of our state capitol. And one thing that's important about legal rules is that they're applied fairly. And to my knowledge, and again, I've never been worked in the Department of Administrative Services, and I'm certainly not an expert on permits, but in my knowledge, there's never been an indefinite overnight permit that has ever been granted by the Department of Administrative Services. David says that's correct. He's been here a lot longer than I have. So here, what I'm saying is you can apply again if you would like for next week. If you would like to apply again, you are free to do that. Anyone is free to apply for a permit to the Department of Administrative Services, and my understanding is what they try to do is to go through the usual process they use with all kinds of people who wish to have a permit. And my understanding is that is what they were trying to do in this situation. So that's why precedent matters, because they're trying to be fair.
To whom is it